What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Thank you guys for 900 subscribers. We just cracked that number the other day, so I wanted to personally thank anybody that's ever watched any of my videos, that continues to watch the videos. Thank you. Now on to our subject for today. I propose a question. Why drop a mixtape so close to your album? It's a trend that I've noticed has been developing a lot more this year. Rick Ross is putting out a double disc that's over 25 songs of remixes on Thanksgiving, and that's literally a week and a day before his latest album, Black Market, is out. Jadakiss put out a freestyle mixtape, which in his defense is pretty much just a collection of the freestyles he put out earlier in the year, but at the same time it did come, a couple weeks before his album Top 5 Dead or Alive. Jeezy put out an EP before he did Church in the Streets, and he had his whole weekly series, which is basically, a lot of content, and I think that's a whole another debate in itself. Ty Dolla $ign put out Airplane Mode a month exactly before his debut album Free TC. Migos dropped the tape before, like 2 months before their debut album Young Rich Nation, and then literally like less than 2 months after we're back to the bando. So I've noticed this trend is kind of developing to where artists are putting out all this content. I think personally, it diminishes the quality of the album. I've always felt that way. Dating back to like when I think about mixtapes overshadowing an album, I think about Rick Ross because he had Rich Forever. Then he followed that up with God Forgives I Don't. And not to say that the album wasn't good, but when you compare it to Rich Forever, there's no contest. That is probably Rick Ross's best project, most complete project in a lot of people's eyes. And even though they arrived months later, but looking at it now, it's like, what does it say about you as an artist if you're putting out a mixtape that close to your album? It doesn't matter if it's freestyles, it doesn't matter if it's remixes, it doesn't matter if it's original. The fact that you're putting out this type of content instead of finding a more lucrative way to promote your album says a lot. And personally, I just don't get it. Like with Ty Dolla $ign, he put out a bunch of unfinished / leftovers. And one of the things that I always hated about it is because there's a record on there called Violent, and I like Violent more than I liked anything on Free TC. And I've been a big Ty Dolla $ign fan for a long time. I just didn't go into the album with high hopes. And here I am with like a couple songs from Airplane Mode that kind of overshadowed the album entirely. And that's one of the issues that comes with it. I mean, in the eyes of some, you're putting out a project, like in Migos' case. Migos put out their mixtape a month later, and it was much better than the album. I get that the album didn't sell that well, but at the same time, that's too close. You should have been promoting it more, something like that. I don't know. But it was just a topic that I continue to think about, like, damn, we're just getting too much content, and it diminishes the quality of certain things. And I feel like the whole original songs on a mixtape have definitely diminished the quality of an album. I think now we're just getting into a spot where it's less about the mixtapes and more about the albums. I feel like people are actually putting out albums that are worthy of being albums instead of just like that thin line between mixtape and album that we've seen in the past. So I don't know. I don't see a benefit for dropping a mixtape so close to your album. If anything, it'll make people forget about the album, or they'll have something to compare it to. And anytime I feel like you're gonna get compared, but I feel like if you're gonna be compared to something, you don't want to be compared to something that you put out for free. If anything, Rick Ross should want to be compared to his last album. Instead, a lot of people might be talking about the freestyles, for instance. Or with Jeezy, I feel like his EP was like non-skippable. There was no songs that I skipped on it, so maybe that might be a lot better than the album. Not saying that it is, but like in the eyes of, you know, some, it might be that way, you know. So I don't know. I definitely want to know your opinion. Do you think there's any benefit for an artist dropping a mixtape so close to his album? I'm talking like probably anywhere from like a month beforehand up until actual release. Is there any benefit that you can see? Um, yeah, I just want to know your thoughts on that. Let me know in the comment section below. Should you put out a mixtape that close to your album? Has there been any other notable examples too? I mentioned, you know, Rick Ross, Jeezy, Jadakiss, Migos, Ty Dolla $ign. Is there anybody else that's guilty of putting out a mixtape so close to their album that it kind of overshadows it? Let me know in the comment section. And when you're done, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video, follow me on Twitter at SermonsDomain. And as always, I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and until next time,